Welcome to the World Challenge. In this programme, Cyber Capital, the website that allows individual lenders to invest directly into African businesses. And in Madagascar, the fishing village that's managing its fish stocks with the future in mind. First, a reminder of the website where you can vote for the World Challenge finalist who impresses you most. It's theworldchallenge.co.uk. World Challenge features 12 sustainable businesses and projects from around the world. It's up to you to vote online for the one you think should win the World Challenge Cash Awards. A supermarket in Copenhagen, Denmark. Shoppers select produce from all over the world. Now, an online platform allows anyone to lend money to the small farmers whose produce ends up on their shelves and get a return on their investment. It's called MYC4, and it lets people invest with a conscience. Danes enjoy one of the highest standards of living in the world, with a GDP per person that's 30 times higher than Uganda, according to the IMF. MYC4 was founded in Copenhagen by business partners Mads Kier and Tim Wang to challenge the perception that Africa is a hopeless case for business. Mads has worked in the motor trade in Africa for many years.
MYC4 is connecting an African business who needs a loan to grow their existing business with funds of capital from investors from around the globe. And we use the internet to connect, to do it in a cheap way, but also do it in a transparent way.
They call MYC4 peer-to-peer lending. Its online platform matches individual investors to business people who until now have had no other access to capital.
I think the challenge for African entrepreneurs to get a business loan lies in the whole model. When you go into an African bank and you're a small business person, the first thing the bank will ask for is say, you like to borrow, let's say 100. We would like you to come with 20 as a deposit before we can look at your application. So the person leaves the bank again and said, but I needed the 100. Not to know that I should deliver money to borrow money. Who will go into a bank if you know you're going to deposit money before you can borrow money? Would you do that?
MYC4 is different. The borrower's credentials and business plan are checked out by a local microfinance institution, and if approved, they agree the maximum interest rate they're willing to pay and upload the details to the website, where over 17,000 investors bid to fund their business. If you're an investor, you set the interest rate you'd like to receive. When the auction is up, the system makes up the loan using the bids with the lowest interest rates.
It's not one person funding one borrower, one business in Africa. It's an average of 50 different people or companies or institutions going together and funding one business. And they have different interest rates. So they bid what they think is fair. And if somebody thinks the interest rate is too high, bid out the others. It's a free world. It's vote with your money.
And Danish consumers are voting with their money in the shops too. MYC4 has teamed up with FDB, the biggest food retailer in Denmark and owner of the co-op shops, to publicise farmers looking for loans.
I think a lot of it, when you talk about ethical trading or ethical sourcing, it's about finding ways to connect the consumer with what lies behind the product. Because once you understand that there's actually people behind that product, that you can help improve their lives, I think you get more interested. It's not every consumer, but there is a growing number of people who are interested in this. We can see that. And there's a growing number of people that are interested in actually finding ways to see, can I do something more? So trying to get that link in place, that's really what we are interested in this project.
When a consumer buys a product, they're also encouraged to help fund the farmer who grew it.
What you eat when you have breakfast, you can actually sit down on your computer next to it, find that farmer and invest in that family. So the next time you eat those pineapples, you actually are a shareholder, so to say, in a loan which has been submitted to that farmer, which made those pineapples.
I've always thought, how can you help people in Africa? Because it's a part of my concerns. We live quite well here in Denmark, but in Africa they have a lot of problems, so I would like to help. You can actually invest in a business in Africa, help the guy in Africa, and you can possibly get a return. So I thought this might be a very good idea, yeah.
3,500 kilometres away in Kampala, Uganda, the current interest rate for borrowers is up to 28%. But many small business people with little or no collateral can't get a loan at any rate. But there are plenty of sound businesses here. One with clear export potential is agriculture.
We call it the small pineapple.
African Organic exports dried, frozen and fresh fruit to the lucrative organic market in Europe. The business depends on groups of small farmers scattered across the fertile countryside.
This is where we do our fresh packing from. We have different sizes of pineapple. And with the Danish markets, we've resorted to identifying the pineapples with the colors. So if we look at a color, we know the size of a pineapple.
The smallholders who grow the fruit that ends up in European supermarkets often have no collateral to secure a loan to expand.
In Uganda today, it has been a challenge for farmers to acquire loans. Most micro institutions that offer loans and banks say they never have anything tangible.
These farmers are not the poorest of the poor. They're active business people. But they need capital to clear more land and buy the suckers to plant and meet the European demand for pineapples.
In this business, generally the whole tilling process takes money. From buying the suckers to putting them in the ground, it all costs money. Then tending the crop costs money and weeding costs money.
The MYC4 loan's grace period gives the farmers time to harvest before they have to start paying back.
This loan is going to work out better because it's flexible to me. I'm going to pay back after harvesting and selling my products, which is easier compared to the regular loans where you get the money invested in your farm and have to pay back even before harvesting while you're still paying labourers to do the weeding. I'm happy that it's the consumer that can help me expand. Even better is that it's the consumer of my pineapples who appreciates my effort enough to finance me. Unlike an institution where you go to get a loan, but they don't care, they don't appreciate your work. This is great because the consumer appreciates what I'm doing and they get a better product, and at the same time I get a loan.
So far, MYC4 has channeled 12 million euros into African businesses. Like many investors, Peter Schmidt reinvests his returns into other new businesses on the website.
I was fond of the idea, helping people to get their own business. So I could help them and they could pay me the money back and I could help other people with this money. So it was like a win-win situation for me.
And how would MYC4 use a World Challenge cash prize if viewers voted it into the top 3?
If we should be so fortunate at winning the World Challenge, then we will spend the prize money on making a special MYC4 investment account called the BBC World Challenge, and it will invest in entrepreneurs producing and doing their business in Africa. And we'll do that indefinitely.
This time on World Challenge, we're giving each finalist a chance to say why their project deserves to be a winner.
That anyone, anywhere in the world, can easily invest as little as €5 in an African business. It could be.
In a farm like this one, and an investor can get a return on that particular investment, the Western world can actually do business with an African entrepreneur through MYC4.com. Let's end poverty through business.
Remember, you have the chance to decide which World Challenge finalist is the most deserving, and you can help them win a cash prize. Visit theworldchallenge.co.uk and find out how you can cast your vote.